Hi everyone, welcome to my channel Niklix. So in today's Python tutorial, I'm going to tell you about the various Tkinter modules and its objects that are used to draw your GUI applications. Like we will be studying labels, buttons, etc. All this in a single video. So for that, I need to import. Before starting my video, if you have not subscribed to my channel, just click on a subscribe button and do subscribe to my channel to get all the latest updates of your Python tutorial. So moving without this window, I'm going to see like how to create a tkinter, how to use the tkinter library. So for that, I need to import this from tkinter import star. So tkinter is a module that contains multiple number of classes. So I need to import all the classes from tkinter library into my this window, right? So I will create a variable known as window and I will pass the reference of tk in that particular variable. And with the window, I'm going to call the title method and I can just go here as first tkinter. You can say a program or a module. So I can type here as module. And after that, I can give it a geometry with the dimension as 400 by 400 and window.main loop main loop will always be called on a method on a variable on which tk object reference is passed. So main loop will just like open your window in 400 by 400 means 400 width and 400 height, and its title will be first tkinter program module. So let's run this window, right click and then run. And here your first tkinter a window is being opened. So from tkinter import star, tkinter is a library that contains all the functions like label, buttons that I am going to teach you in my further videos. So title will be first tkinter program or a module, window or geometry. Its window is 400 by 400, and now its geometry is 400 by 400, and window.main loop will just display the window onto your screen. So this is my base. This is the basic program of a tkinter, and let's start with the next program, which will going to explain you how to add a label, a button, and an entry box in your window. So I'm just copying this file, Control C and Control V. I am going to type it as second. So from Tkinter import star. So this was the first file, and I'm closing this, and this is my second file. So from Tkinter import style, it's window tk window.title. I'm going to say as demo of label and button. So window.title, and I will pass the window.geometry as whatever the size you want to mention over here, 400 by 400. So now I'm going to create a label. So we have a label class in Tkinter, L capital. So it's a case sensitive. You have to check before you have to write. So the first parameter will be a window on which this label will be placed, and the second will be the text, whatever the text you want to write in this label. So this is the label, the text which will be I will be like placing on this label. And now the label, there are three types of you can say uh, layouts that are used in Python tkinter library. It's a pack and the grid layout and the place method. So first of all, I am going to explain you the pack. So label.pack, in the pack you can just mention the side on which your label or your buttons will be placed. So I will create a button over here. So it's a button. So on button we will be writing like on which button it will be, on which window it will be placed. So text, it should be click me, and I can specify its border with bd equals to 2, and just a little bit command that if anybody is going to click on this button, it's we have a window that is an object, and the destroy function will be called, by which it can just close the window. So window dot main loop window dot main loop, and it will be closed. So here I will just place a button dot pack, and I will just put it into the side, let's say top. So I'm going to right click this, run second. So here there is a problem with this button command, and we can just check here. So we can just check here like window.destroy. I think this should not be there. So it's not a function. You have to simply call window.destroy function. So right click and run second. So here my the label is being displayed. Label is at the bottom because we have specified that label should be placed at the side bottom and the button should be placed at the side top. And I have placed a button. Button is a class in a Tkinter, and it's I have called its constructor, and here we can say the window is the first parameter, text is the click me. The click me is text is been like written on the button, and command is window.destroy. So what does window.destroy means? That whenever I'm going to click on this button, it is going to close the window. So we can also have one entry, one input box, let it be its ent, and entry is a class, and we have to place this entry on this window, and on which side we have to place is entry dot pack, and it will be a side equals to left. So I'm going to run this. So here it's shown as a text box. So ent entry window ent dot pack is side equals to left, so it's placed on the left side. So basically the pack function is a layout defining function of your tkinter that is going to define on which side your the control will be displayed. So we have a bottom, left, right, and top, and it will just, and by default, if you are not going to specify anything, for example, I'm going to just put a comment on this pack, and if I'm going to place here only dot pack, so dot pack will just place your control at your center of the screen. To other I have not displayed as pack, so it will not be showing until unless I am going to use this pack function. So by default the pack function will be your vertically centered sorry, so top centered it will be starting, and a one control will be displaying in one line. So in this way you can display your the controls with the help of pack function, and if you want to display on the left, top, and right or bottom, so you can specify here as the side function of the pack, side property of a pack function. So this was all about your pack function. So moving to the other part, and I'm going to just copy this second.py. I'm going to paste this third. So here again it's window tk little demo of the label, and you can define here as demo of the grid layout. So the next is the grid layout, which you can use in Tkinter to place your controls in the section you want to define. So for that I need a label. Let's say it's a label, and I can specify here as enter name, and the first is the window on which it will be specified, and second will be its text, that is equals to enter name. And where we are going to specify this is I can specify it with the help of grid layout, and in the grid layout I can specify is as row 0 and column equals to 0. So it will be specifying in the row 0 means in the table layout, if we can just it's think that it's row 0 and the column 0, and in the next one I can define as ent1, that will be entry, and entry will be defined in window, and to this entry we can define as entry dot grid. We can say here as row 0 and column equals to 1. So it will be displayed in your enter name will be displayed in your first, the 0 we can just like run this file in order to clear all these things. So here the row 0 is a 0 row and 0 column, and the entry 1 is being placed at the very next to its the label. So in this way you can specify here a grid layout. So I can just copy this and I'm going to paste this over here, and after pasting I can just label 1 entry 2 and entry 2, and we can specify here as row 0, row 1 column 0 and row 1 column 1. So enter marks, and if I'm going to run this, in the bottom its name and its marks. So how it has been defined, the row 0 means 0 row 0 column, the name will be displayed, and here the entry 1, which is this one, and here it's 0 row means the name 1 row and the column should be 1, means exactly after name label it will be placed. And if I have defined the next label, it's enter marks, that is in row 1 and column 0. See, so it is being placed over here in the row 1 and column 0, and the next one is row 1 and the column 1. So in the next, so in this exactly after your marks, because I have specified here consecutive columns of row 1 only. So the label enter marks has been displayed in the row 0 column 1, and the text box has been displayed in row 1 and column 1. So in this way you can use the grid layout to have control on your different objects that you want to place on the Tkinter window, and you can just use this layout as well. So we have seen the pack function, the pack layout of the Tkinter, and now it was a turn of the grid layout. And after the grid layout we will be using the third layout that is used in Tkinter in Python, that is the basically the place method. So place, for that I need to just I have just like remove all that labels and controls, and now this same basics. So tkinter ty import star tk window title, and we can specify here the place method, the place layout geometry, it's 0. So label equals to again label, and which will be placed in window, and here I can specify here as text will be let it be name. And after specifying its sex, now it's a time to move it with the place method. So place will be defined as your x-axis and y-axis. So x equals to 10 and y equals to 100. And same, I can just put a button, let it be its label 1, and button 1 you can say entry 1. So entry, and I will be placed it in the window, and here I can specify its place as x equals to 100, because I have to move the x-axis, but y will be the same because I want to display at the very next to the name. So if I'm going to just run this, and now it's displayed here. So let's see how it has been displayed. So label 1 dot place. So window is having the width of 400 pixel and height of 400 pixel, and x label 1 is placed, and x-axis is from right to left and y-axis is from top to bottom. So x always goes horizontal and y always goes vertical. So x equals to 10. So the 10 pixels, it has 9 pixel, it has been leaved, and the 10 pixel, in the 10th pixel the name is been written. And then comes your the label place 10. It the x-axis it's 10 and the y is 100. So from top it's 100. This point is been defined, and from this point the name is been displayed. Name is been written. So coming to the entry plus part x equals to 100. So here from this top left corner of the window, its x is 100 this way and y is 100 this way. So entry box will be placed over here. So let's place a new entry bar. So let it be a label. Label equals to label, and it will be a window, and you can specify here that here text as marks, and label 2 dot place, and I can place this label as x equals to 10. From left side I want to place in that particular position, and from the y I can place it as y equals to 150. And same is in the case of entry 2, and I can specify here as entry window. It will be placed in window, so ent2 dot place x equals to 100, because I have to move it to by the 100 place, because I want to display it in the front of marks, and y equals to 150. So I'm going to run this. So here the marks will display. Let's check out like how it is being displayed. So label 2 dot label its window, and its label 2 dot place is 10. The 10 pixels from left, and the y is 150 pixels from the top. Then entry 2, the it will be the 10 pixel, the 100 pixel from the left, and the 150 pixel from the y. So here it comes with the name and marks. You can control your controls in the manner you want to display onto your Tkinter window. In which part you have to display that, you have to specify with the help of pixels, and that pixel position will be determined that on at which position your control will be displayed. So that was about the entry. That was all about the place layout that you can use in your Tkinter window, and this was all about the layouts that I use in Tkinter window in your Python. We have a pack method, place method, and the grid method. So this was all about your layouts. Now moving to the next part, we have to check, like there are labels, there are buttons, there are entry box, there are spin box. Then you can place a picture on the button. Then you have a combo box. You have a menu bar. So these are all controls that you can use in the Tkinter window. So let's make a program that will define all the controls of Tkinter window in your Python. Let it be named as fifth.py, and I will just erase all these things, and I can just here say as demo of controls of Tkinter. So I'm going to make a single file that will specify all the controls of the Tkinter, which is Tkinter Python, and you can just note it down, and let's start. So in this way, it's fifth.py, and just we see that demo of controls Tkinter has been written on the top of the window. The title of the window geometry is 400 by 400. So let's check about geometry functions. So if I am going to use here as window dot max size, so max size will be 200 by 200. So if I'm going to run this, run fifth. So the maximum size is 200 by 200. I'm going to like maximum size, it's 200 by 200. So if I'm going to just increase its width, it's not been increasing because I have specified the maximum size of 200 by 200. So there is a method like geometry, the fixed one. You can go it in the variable size by just clicking on the button of maximize. But in the case of maximum size, your window is fixed. You can't change your window. You can just decrease the size of this window, but you can't increase the size of your window. So apart from the maximize function, there is a function called window dot mini size that can specify the size of the element. So by default, it will be the minimum size will be the minimum, it will be a 200 by 200, and maximum you can specify with the help of your like this one, or you can just specify your control in this or that way. So in this way, there is a control name maximum. There is a function name maximum and minimum size. So for now, currently I'm using window.geometry only. Like it's the best way to use that. So according to your requirement. Fine. So coming to the controls part, I can just define starts with the label, and it's a label, and label will be having a window. On this window I'm going to type a text name over this, and I'm using a pack function that will display a control in the center of the screen. So pack, so here the name comes. Moving to the next part, there is a function called entry, so ent, it will be an entry and specifying its window dot pack. So pack function will display the entry box in the center of the window. Moving to the next part, it's my let's create something a new case of entry. Let it be entry one. It's entry, and we can specify it in a window and specify its state as disabled in capital. So disabled in capital dot pack. So open close and let's just run this. So this is a text box and this is just a disabled entry box that has been displayed over here. So if you want to disable your text box or the entry box, you have to simply go fill with the pack with a property called state equals to disabled. So moving to the next part, let's create something interesting. We can just specify here as I'm going to specify, we can say just create a button. So button equals to new button, and it will be a window, and whatever the text you want to write over here, we can specify is as text equals to click me, and after clicking me, and we can just here as dot use here as pack. So click, so a button is being placed over here. So let's do some styling over in this button. So for styling I need to import a file as tkinter.ttk. ttk is a sub package or sub module in a tkinter module. I'm going to import the every class from there, and before button I'm going to create a style. I can just use the style I have defined a style, a variable. So style is a inbuilt, you can say, class which I have passed the reference of that to the style object, and I am going to define this style. With the style object I will be calling a configure method, and in configure method I am going to specify the variable, whatever variable you want to give here, the name you want to give here, let it be a. And for this button I need to call a function or a constant t button. So a dot t button I have declared. So after that I'm going to specify its font will be the first one. In the font type I need to specify the fonts family which I need to define, then the size which I need to define, then the font weight, either it will be bold or underlined, it will be in the small letters, and the underline. So I need my font to be Calibri, and the font size will be 10 pixels, and it will be a bold and it will be underlined. So I need to specify the foreground color of the text. The foreground color should be red. So I can specify with the help of style dot configure. So in this way I have specified the my style. I have specified its property. So if I want to use this, I can use this with the help of style property, and in the style property I need to specify here as the name which I have been given to this. So a dot t button, I have the name given to this. So in the button constructor or button properties, I will specify the property style, and a dot button will be the name of that style. So if I'm going to run this, it is going to display me the Calibri font, and the 10 pixel will be the size, and the bold, it will be by default bold, and it is underlined. So in this way you can just specify your the style you want to use in the button. So along with the style, if I want to use the picture over here, for picture I need to just I have just an icon on my desktop, so I'm just going to copy this icon into my project folder with the one.png, or you can say image.png. So to configure an image, to apply an image on this image button, I need to call a class, it's photo image, and I need to specify, you can say, to which one.png it was, and I have space, save here as pic.png. So pic.png, I need to specify the file name over here. So it was pic.png in the photo image, and I have to specify it in the file property of photo image. So the reference of pic.png is being returned to my photo variable, And here in the button I need to specify a property name image, and in this image I need to provide the reference of the photo image object. So in the photo image class I need to pass the file in the photo image object, the class, sorry, it's the photo image class. I need to provide a property of file along with the name of the image I need to specify, and the reference will be returned to photo. And in the button it's a property called image in which I have to specify its the photo property. So I'm going to run this. So image has been displayed over here, but the text is not being shown. So if I want the text to be shown also, I can specify here as compound. There is a compound property, and in the compound property I can specify here as left. So specifying the left in the compound property will take my image to the left section of the button, and the text will also be appear over here. So in this way you can specify your the image and the property of a button in your Tkinter. So moving to the next part, this was all about button, and moving to the next part, we can just create a radio button. So to create a radio button, there we need a radio button object class. I can specify on which window it is to be displayed. Then the text which is to be displayed over here, I need to specify the property of a radio button with the variable, with any unique variable that can specify as v, and I have to specify it as value equals to PCA. So dot pack function will I be using. So if I'm going to run this, there is a radio button that is being displayed over here. I'm just going to copy this and just changing its name as radio 2. Let it be BCA, value should be BCA, here it should be MCA, and here the two radio buttons. As we all know that radio buttons are the unique references, either of one radio button will always be selected. So this was all about the radio button, how to use the radio button. Moving to the next, we need a checkbox. So checkbox equals to check button, on which we have to specify its window, then the text we need to display. It's playing I need to display. We have to specify its variable name. To variable name I have to specify it's the name of the variable, name of the checkbox. On value, on value will specify the 1, and the off value will return the value 0. So this will be the property of your checkbox, and I'm repeating it. It's basically the window. The second property is the text you want to display. Then we know that we can, the person, the user can select two checkbox, both the value of checkbox at a time. So I need to specify the different variable names for both the checkbox. On value will always be 1 and off value will always be 0. So through this I can specify here as check button 2. So here I can specify, I can just check out these both values, the checkbox is checking out. So moving to the next part, there we are creating a month variable. So creating a month variable, we can specify here as a variable as months, and I'm going to create a set over here, and here I can say Jan. I'm going to specify all the, like, March, it should be April, May, so this will be the I have created a set, and moving to the next part I will be creating a combo. So in combo, there is a class called combo box, and to this combo box I will be applied to a window. I'm going to attach this combo box to the window, and it's a property called values. I can specify the variable month over there. So the pack function I will be calling, and if I'm going to run this, there creates a combo box, and all the values, all the variable month which is holding a value of all the months, that will be displayed in the combo box. So here in this way you can specify the combo box. Now moving to the next part, there is a class called text, and we can specify here like same to the identical with the text area of HTML. It's the same control in this tkinter as text. I can specify its height as 5 and width as 30, and I'm going to pack this. So if I'm going to run this, here the text area comes. So it's a property of text over there. Fine. I'm just going to increase its height as 600 so that all the buttons, all the like controls could be displayed in the easy way. So I can specify its height as 800 as well. So in this way, the text is going to appear, and moving to the next control, I have a control named message. So I can just define here object called message, and I'm calling a class as message, and to this control I'm going to place in my window, and there is a text property that is going to, this is a message box, and dot pack I'm going to call, so pack. So if I'm going to run this is a message box that is being displayed. You need to display a simple message. To this you can use message controls. So moving to the next part, that then there is a spin box. Spin box I'm going to specify in on which window it can be used from 0 to 20. So dot pack, so it will be a spin box. So if I'm going to run this, it's a spin box which is going to display your 1 to 20 bit values in your tkinter form. So moving to the next part, let it's a list box. So list box is a control. To this control I will be specifying it in a window. So list box, to list box I'm going to add the value with the help of insert method. So to the first index I'm going to add as India. To the next, the second one I'm going to add another, and here USA and China. And in the last I'm going to list box dot pack, and if I'm going to run this, it's a list box that is going to display my three values. So in this way you can specify the list box and you can use it into your tkinter window. So next is the menu. I'm going to create a menu bar. So menu bar, the menu is an inbuilt control that is being present in your Tkinter. So I have to specify the menu to which window I need to like insert my menu to that window. I need to specify it over here. So with the help of menu bar, there's a function called, there is a function of menu add command. So what does add command does? Add command, I have created a menu bar. So in menu bar, I need to add a menu. So add menu, to add a menu, there is a function called add command. And to this add command, I am going to specify a label. So I can specify here as hello, and or you can just specify here as file, and I need to specify one more menu. So to this I can specify here as edit. So I'm going to call the window.config, and config, it will be config with menu equals to menu bar. So menu is a control of window.config, and which menu bar I am going to place in my window is this one, the menu bar with file and edit. If I'm going to run this, here my menu that will be placed on top of my window with file and edit label used on that. So this was all this was all about the menu part and the how you can add the menu. And last will be the I'm going to declare a variable as double var, and I'm going to use the scale function, scale control. So scale is going to create on this window, and we need to specify its variable because we need a value from this. So from it will be 1, and 2 it will be 50. So I will, in the last, I will be calling the pack function. So if I'm going to run this, this is a scale that is being created over here. So its value is ranges from 1 to 50. Basically, we give a variable to this control because we need to pick a value from here, because I'm going to make a video in which your scale function and in which a scale function I will be using and a button function I will be using, and by clicking on a button function you will be getting this value of scale. So in my upcoming videos of Python, these all controls with the help of button and which function it will be using, I'm going to explain all these. So this was a demo of controls of your Tkinter. In this way you can use all your controls. So moving to the next part, there is a message box, how to create a message box in your Tkinter. So for that I'm going to create another file, let it be 6.php, 6.py, and to this I can just start with my like it's a geometry, and to this I'm going to remove this. I'm going to import a library from Tkinter import message box. So a message box is being imported, and I can show here as message box. I can use its direct method like show warning. Show warning, it's warning with the title, and this you can specify anything. So I'm going to run this. So by running this, it's going showing me the title warning and warning in the text box that is being placed over here. So there are some other controls also of message, other function also message box also. I can just show error, like it will be a error, and what type of error, like you can specify here as error. Then we have a message box with ask question. Ask question, you can just specify here as confirm, and you can specify are you sure. Then there is a message box with your ask okay cancel, and you can say here as okay cancel, and you can say here as hello Tkinter box. And after that there is a message box with ask yes no. So it's yes no, we can specify here as the title part, and we can say here as understood. Whatever message you want to type over here, you just specify. So after a yes or no, then the last is the message box with your ask, retry, and cancel, and you can say here as Tkinter, and you can say here as try again. So one by one, it's going to show me all the dialog box. So for example, the first one is warning. It's showing me the warning. The second one is the error, show error. The error is in the title bar, and whatever the text you want to display, you can display over here. So next one is ask question. So are you sure? It's showing me you the default button of yes and no, and after that it's hello Tkinter box and okay cancel. There is slightly a spelling mistake over here, so okay and cancel button is being displayed, and in the last you understand it's yes and no button that is going to display, and in the last it's try again, and Tkinter is in the title bar, so retry and cancel button will be displayed. So this was all about your message box, and this was all about your Tkinter library that is being used in your Python. And I hope you like my video. And if you like my video, do like and share, and do subscribe to my channel for getting all the latest tutorials of Python. In the upcoming videos, I'm going to explain how to insert data into a database from your Tkinter form into your MySQL database, and how to pick up a radio button value, checkbox value, how you can pick all these values, and we are going to save this all into your database. So thanks for watching my video.